As I'm sure that many of you will have now seen, the votes are in. I was going to make a video about this on results day, but I was too tired and my last working hemoglobin molecule was doing its very best. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ollie. I'm a junior doctor living and working in the UK as part of the NHS. And this result that we're talking about today has been a long time coming. Almost a year ago, as of publishing this video, I put up a video asking for your help in securing a position as part of the BMA's Executive Council, for the straight and simple reason of helping to push towards full pay restoration for junior doctors. On the 9th of January, almost 6 weeks ago, the ballot for industrial action for junior doctors opened, asking junior doctors in England whether or not they would be willing to take industrial action in defence of their pay. And on Monday, the 20th of February 2023, the close of the ballot, we were greeted with a pretty spectacular result that came in the form of an email directly from the BMA. And just so you can all share in this moment, especially if you're not BMA members, I'll put the email that we all received on screen now so you can see exactly what it said. Now have a pause of the video right here, take a deep breath, share in the moment, digest it, but now I'm going to break down the key results for you. Of an eligible 47,692 individuals who were entitled to vote in the ballot, 36,955 votes were cast by junior doctors, which gives us a 77.49% turnout. There were 36,128 votes in favour of industrial action. There were 716 votes, or 1.94%, against industrial action. And lastly, 21 ballots that were spoiled or otherwise invalid. So take a moment to think about that. 98% of voting junior doctors in favour of industrial action. That is absolutely overwhelming, and the key thing here is that this is so strong a mandate from a voting body that it's impossible to ignore. We've seen criticisms in the media thus far while all of this has been brewing that all of this noise is coming from a very small number of left-wing activists that have infiltrated the BMA, but this result blows all of that completely out of the water. This is about as accurate a view of things on the ground as you could ask for. And what's crucial now is that we take a moment to celebrate. This is an incredible, incredible victory because it shows that the profession has teeth and that it's willing to be mobilised. Huge, huge waves of support need to go out to the BMA as a whole, including all of the staff that work behind the scenes and that we never hear from in order to make things happen, of which there are a great many people. Particular recognition in the wake of this particular victory needs to go to Doctors Rob Lawrenson and Vivek Trivedi, the current co-chairs of UKJDC, who of course you've seen here on the channel before, and of course the good people of the Doctors Vote organisation who have been working tirelessly behind the scenes in order to galvanise the profession and bring everything together. Also to Professor Philip Banfield, who is the current chair of BMA Council, and of course to Dr. Emma Runswick, who is our deputy chair of council. We must also mention the fantastic work that our representatives from the BMA have been doing in the media. You'll have no doubt seen doctors like Emma Vasilian-Sumi and our other media trained reps taking on these interviews in their stride. And believe me when I say that that stuff is hard. It is really hard, and we need to be particularly thankful and able to recognise that those doctors have taken on that training, they have taken on that burden so that they can negotiate with the media properly, and that's really important. Putting yourself out there in the public space, in the firing line, that is no small thing to do. Unfortunately, historically, and we're seeing it again, we know what happens when the journalists come running for smear stories to run on people. But this is of course only the beginning for things for now, because until we hear otherwise, junior doctors in England are going on a 72-hour tools down, all-out strike. That's every department in the hospital, including life-saving services such as accident and emergency, intensive care units, paediatrics and cancer services. This is a very clear, very strong start that will be instrumental in setting the tone for negotiations to come. And the NHS at large, and of course the government, have had plenty of notice of this. This has been the story all along. Since the announcement of the results, news articles have been coming thick and fast, as you might imagine, and as ever, journalist fact-checking leaves a significant amount to be desired. It's also unfortunately quite clear that despite the hard work of people like myself and other people operating in these spaces and doing communications, a very large amount of the public simply has no idea how medicine works in the UK, little understanding of how doctors get paid, but remain happy to wax lyrical about exactly how much we should be paid, how we're not working hard enough, and invariably how we should be bonded to the NHS for some number of years. And all of this is fine because of our gold-plated pensions and the fact that we will all be millionaires one day. We unfortunately keep seeing these fairly tired arguments over and over again. I still think it's worth trying to have genuine dialogue with people and set the record straight, but don't tire yourself out doing it. The fact is that doctors of any grade are highly skilled, highly trained professionals, and we've been infantilized and taken advantage of for a very long time. But when push comes to shove, you simply cannot run a health service without doctors. It's not possible. And the effects of even a 3-day continuous strike in the NHS could be enormously disruptive. Why exactly is this? I think it's really important to understand the nature of this disruption and ultimately what we're trying to achieve here. If you have no juniors, that means that consultants now need to man the wards. There always has to be a doctor present and covering. That means that those same consultants can't be running their clinics, they can't be operating in theatre, or providing some other specialist service that only a consultant can provide. When you get to the end of the working day, into the evening and overnight, there are still no juniors, so you now need a consultant in to cover the evening and overnight. Because that consultant or other senior doctor has now been in overnight, they can't do their clinic or operate or any other elective activity the next day. They have to take the rest that anyone else does. So trusts will not only have to pay those consultants for enormous amounts of extra contractual work over what they would normally be paid, you've also got the logistics of rearranging and moving around all of that cancelled elective activity. So even over a very short strike period of 3 days, relatively speaking very short of course, you create weeks and weeks and weeks of disruption, because all of this stuff builds into the future. And this will also, as I've said, affect every department, including A&E and ITU. And again, as always, we need to be clear that there will, of course, be doctors there. They just won't be junior doctors. Trusts have had plenty of time to plan for this, but now they're all on formal warning. This is coming. And just to close out this video, despite all of the glee and the celebration that, of course, will come with a successful ballot, doctors are not happy to be striking. We're happy because the profession has chosen finally to stand up for itself and protest against worsening pain conditions. This isn't fundamentally, and never has been, about harming patients. We don't want that to happen. It doesn't serve as any purpose for that to happen, and the evidence suggests that it won't happen. But we need to remember that it is the NHS and ultimately the government that hold the responsibility for that. And they have refused every single opportunity to come to the table and talk to doctors about their pay. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. Please be sure to hit that like button for me, leave a comment, subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out my website and stay tuned for more medical news updates as they happen. Take care.